Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gettysburg College for another edition of Facebook Live. We want to thank you for joining us again this afternoon. My name is Braden Snyder, and today we're joined by the team captains of the Gettysburg College men's soccer team. The Bullets are coming off a strong 9-4-3 season last year, and we're in contention for a Centennial Conference playoff berth all the way up until the final game of the season. Seated to my left is Lucas Weissman. He is a senior midfielder from an economics major from Short Hills, New Jersey. He's provided the team with one of its most consistent performers over the years and has missed just one game throughout his career, playing in 48 games and making 42 starts. He posted 2 goals and 1 assist last year and also contributed to a defensive effort in which the Bullets registered 5 shutouts. Seated to my right is Patrick Santini, a senior forward and organization and management studies major from Coscob, Connecticut. He has made his mark as one of the team's top offensive performers throughout his career, racking up 17 goals and 10 assists over the last 3 years. And last year, he captured All Centennial Conference honorable mention after netting 7 goals and 5 assists. He capped the season in style, netting a hat trick in the second half of Gettysburg's season-ending victory at McDaniel College. So, Lucas and Patrick, thank you for joining us today to talk about the team and the upcoming season. I guess you've had nearly 2 weeks now with the team. In general, just what have your first impressions been?
Well, first 2 weeks we've been working very hard, and I've had great impressions. We have 11 freshmen coming in, first years coming in. So it's difficult with a short preseason to have a quick turnaround and have them acclimated to what we're trying to do and all the kind of necessary requirements they have through the college and academics. But we've been incredibly efficient with our training, and I have great impressions with all 11 of them, and they should all have an opportunity to make a real impact this season. And it's always very difficult when you're losing key players. We had key starters who graduated, but I think there are returning players as well as first years that are primed to make a real impact this season. So I'm incredibly excited for this coming season, and these first 2 weeks have been a great sign for things to come.
Patrick, anything you'd like to add to how the team looks here in the early going?
Sure. Yeah, I think that we're looking good so far. You never really know until you get into that first game of the season. But I think all the first years look really good. I think, as Lucas said, they're acclimating really well into the team. And then as for the returning guys, I think there's a lot of guys that are looking to step up this year, and also improve upon last year's season to help us get to where we want to go this year.
Well, before we delve too deep into the year ahead, I thought we could discuss your study abroad experiences from last spring. Both of you actually were abroad. Lucas, you were in Ferrara, Italy, and Patrick in Sevilla, Spain. So can you talk about some of the highlights from your time abroad?
Well, some of the highlights for me were definitely all the traveling that you're able to do when you go to Europe. And a lot of our team, the senior class now went together in the spring, and we met up in a bunch of places and were able to do stuff together. And I think that was pretty rare. It was like having our own friend group abroad.
What other team members did you?
Michael Farisi, Sitchy Hilton Day, Lucas, David Bear, a bunch of guys, Max, of course. And we were all kind of situated in different places, so we were able to go visit each other, and then also meet up in cities and kind of just have fun. Yeah.
Lucas, can you share a little bit about your study abroad experience in Italy?
Yeah, just to touch on one thing that Pat said, is that it's kind of a unique opportunity that we have as student athletes to go abroad as well. Sometimes you have restrictions because of spring season and off season, but it's incredible that we have a coach that not only allows us to to go abroad, but also encourages it because he understands kind of the full experience that Gettysburg can offer us. And then in terms of my experience personally, I was in a small Italian city. Not many people spoke English, and I didn't speak any Italian going in. So kind of my highlight was having my homestay, where I was able to further my Italian studies outside the classroom. And I wouldn't say I'm fluent, but semi-proficient in Italian language at this point. And that was a highlight for me, as well as, of course, seeing all my teammates abroad as well.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you each had a very great experience. And sticking, I guess, to kind of your experiences abroad, jumping ahead a few months, both of you traveled with the team to England for a 9-day trip, and did a lot of different things. As played a couple of international friendlies. But I'll let you talk about it. What were some of the highlights of the trip to England?
I think the trip was a huge success. It went really well. It was definitely a once in a lifetime experience to be able to travel with your team to Europe. Yeah, and I think one of the things that definitely stood out for me was the playing the friendlies was fun, and then touring all the stadiums in the cities was fun. But we traveled to Glossop, England, and went to our coach's hometown and visited Metrics Butchers, and his father was waiting there for us with 35 meat pies, best butchers in the UK and England, and it was a really cool experience just to kind of see where our coach grew up and kind of ran hills and kind of has the mindset that he has today. He talks a lot about it, so it was pretty cool.
Lucas, anything you'd like to add to the team's experience in England?
Yeah, that was definitely my highlight as well. But I just wanted to thank all the alumni and anyone that helped us fundraise for this trip. It wasn't an easy thing to organize, and I just want to thank those people for helping out as well.
So looking back at last season, the team again posted a solid record, nearly reached the Centennial Conference playoffs in a very competitive league. Can you talk a little bit about the upcoming season and maybe the goals the team has for the year, Patrick?
I think our goals this year are pretty straightforward. We want to make the Centennial Conference playoffs, and then we want to win the Centennial Conference tournament. I think that's probably most teams in our conference goals, but I think that we really have a realistic shot at doing that this year, and we've come close the past 2 years where one or two things could have gone our way, and we would have been right there. And I think this is a year that we want to take that step and make it into that top 5 this year, and then anything can happen in the tournament. So.
The team is coming off an undefeated year at home last season. Bullets were 5-0-3 at Clark Field. So, Lucas, I'd just be interested to hear from you. How big is it to be able to defend your turf the way you did last season?
I think it's incredibly important. We get great support from parents, alumni, and students, as well as faculty that come out to watch us. And I think. Aside from the fact that it's so challenging to go away for various reasons, whether that be away support and just the travel, everything that goes along with winning an away game, I think it's also mentally and psychologically important for us, knowing that like we always have that kind of that safeguard for ourselves that this is our home and if you're going to come in here, it's going to be incredibly difficult to take one away from us.
Well, offensively, the team graduated one of its top scoring threats in program history in Henry Smith, who piled up 11 goals last season, was named All-Region. However, there is plenty of offense coming back. 7 players who scored a goal are returning. I mentioned Patrick here. scored 7 goals, had 5 assists last year. So, Patrick, from your perspective, what kind of things should we look for from the offense this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. Henry was a big loss. I had a lot of fun up top with him in the 3 years that we played together. But at the same time, I think we can expect a lot of excitement from the offense this year. We're kind of toying around with some different options and how to play, and I think at least one big player that we're looking to step up this year is Precious. He's extremely skilled, and he had a pretty good year last year, but I'm expecting a breakout year from Precious. And then there's definitely going to be some other guys that are going to need to chip in with some goals like we did last year. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for what we're going to bring.
And looking at the other end of the field, the defense didn't maybe suffer nearly as many losses, but does return both of its starting goalies, Thomas Keane and Max Karen, as well as an all-region center back, in Ezekiel Omusanya, who's going into his sophomore year. So I guess, Lucas, can you, at the other end of the field, talk about the defensive outlook for the season?
Yeah, sure. I think it's important to kind of have a strong foundation defensively. Have people that understand what they're doing every game, and to have experience back there is really important. So to return kind of our key players back there is going to be huge for us. But again, like we've talked about, we have players that have the opportunity to come in and make a real impact when they might not have last year or years past. And you mentioned Ezekiel, who was an all-region player last year, and I can't say enough about his ability and his just his mentality on the field. It's such a luxury to have him back there. And I think, just like Pat said, Precious is primed for a breakout year. I think even though Zeke has accomplished so much in his first year, I think he can have the sky's the limit with him.
Yeah, we saw Zeke showcase his talents on the track as well. Last year was one of the team's top sprinters, and just a great all-around athlete, and certainly a great asset to the team. Well, Patrick, the team has strung together 3 really strong seasons now since you and Lucas and the rest of the seniors have been here under head coach Mark Metrick, who's heading into his 4th season now. The Bullets have gone 28, 16, and 5 over the last 3 seasons. What do you feel have been some of the keys to what the team has been able to perform under Coach Metrick?
Yeah, I think when we got here, to be honest, it was kind of a mess. We didn't really know what was going on, but I think Coach Metrick kind of came in and changed the culture. He brought discipline among other things, and I think also huge credit to like past captains who also implemented that type of leadership that we really needed to turn this program around. And yeah, I think it's kind of a player's program right now. We lead it. He's obviously the coach, but he wants our input and everything, and he kind of wants to see us succeed. And yeah, I think that the culture change was definitely one of the biggest reasons for the turnaround.
So we've talked about Bullets competing in the Centennial Conference. It's really built a reputation, I believe, for being a strong conference in men's soccer, many sports, but especially men's soccer. And last year, for instance, Haverford won the conference title, but Franklin and Marshall actually advanced deeper in the NCAA tournament, reaching the Elite Eight. So Lucas, I don't know, can you talk maybe a little bit about the strength of the Centennial Conference in men's soccer and what it's like to compete in league play?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of a give and take being in the Centennial Conference, because on one hand it prepares you so well for any competition that you could possibly face in the country. I would argue that it's among the strongest conferences in the country, but it's also incredibly difficult to get through the conference schedule. We've had 3 straight years of very successful years out of conference, and once we get in conference, we're kind of on a high, and we realize that it's incredibly difficult. Every single game is a competitive game. So I think that I take it as a huge opportunity to play in this type of conference. There are teams that kind of breeze through their conference schedule, and they're not prepared for the national stage. My mindset is if we're able to compete with the teams in the Centennial Conference and able to reach our goals, as Pat said before, which is to win the whole thing, once we're on that national stage, we're prepared for anything.
Well, as we're winding down here, we'll ask you one more question before we let you go. One thing we kind of like to talk about here is just in general, what is it about your sport? What is it about Gettysburg men's soccer that you like the most, that you would say kind of defines the program for you?
I think one thing that sticks out is kind of those Saturday night games under the lights on Clark, kind of with 11 of your closest friends, going out there and trying to get a win, and all your families on the sidelines, all your best friends are on the sidelines, and I think that kind of when I look back on this experience, I think those are going to be the memories that most stick out to me. And yeah, it's hard to forget getting a win on a Saturday night under the lights on Clark.
Anything you'd like to add to that, Lucas, or anything about the program that sticks out for you?
Yeah, sure. I think similar to what Pat said, I think it's the people that surround the program, from the players who I consider all my best friends, to coaches and administrators who are just so involved and invested in the program, to faculty who will show up and I'll go to class, and a professor who I didn't even know was interested in soccer is asking me about the game, or saying that I played well, or congratulating me, to alumni who are still so involved in the program. So there's, I don't know how to quantify it or kind of define it, but there's something about the people that the school attracts as well as the program attracts that make it special to me.
Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, Lucas Weissman, Patrick Santini, senior captains of the Gettysburg College men's soccer team. Thank you so much, Patrick and Lucas, for joining us. It was a pleasure talking men's soccer with you, and definitely looks like definitely on the verge of another great season. So we look forward to it this year. The Bullets open the season this weekend at the Salisbury University Elmer Lord Memorial Tournament. The Bullets face St. Mary's College of Maryland tomorrow at 4 p.m. Before playing Salisbury on Saturday at 3 p.m. Gettysburg's home opener is set for next Friday night, September 8th, under the lights at Clark Field. The Bullets take on Stevenson at 7 p.m. So thank you once again for following along here on Facebook Live once again, and go Bullets.